Hey, Mayor.
Hey, Dave.
That was a super meeting yesterday of the MTC, the Transportation Summit in Mooresville.
Mm-hmm.
There was an awful lot of elected officials and town officials.
Almost all, most
attended?
of them from 4 communities and Charlotte, so 5 really.
On the order of 200 people there, at least.
I've heard between 150 and 200.
Mayor, I'd like to ask you what the critical issue around the North Line is from the perspective of Cornelius.
Well, first and foremost, it'll be the financing of the line, associated with the need not to obligate the residents on any unforeseen tax liabilities. That's kind of the big overarching one. Short term is this whole special assessment district, how it will actually be implemented, and the funding and the approval for the SAD.
I was pretty clear. I thought I heard clearly that there would be no obligation for local taxpayers.
Everybody, that's one of the big things. I put in several emails all along, and they picked up on it and heard us loud and clear that we can't be involuntary guarantors of debt, and that's stated in their bullet point, or they reiterated multiple times for emphasis that there will be no recourse to the town for any debt.
The state ultimately says that they'll make the payments on the bonds.
Yeah, they're looking to have the state back.
Hey, Mayor, can you say roughly how big the special assessment district is in Cornelius? Does it extend from
town border to town border? And I don't know the exact distance, but it's measured from the center of the track and equidistant on both sides. And it's a quarter mile, half mile, so it's going to be a half mile to a mile swatch going down the rail track.
So we really don't know how many property owners are there right now.
No, we're actually in the process of compiling that information right now.
It's a mix of commercial and residential.
It will be.
Private homes and commercial properties.
Correct.
Also, there's owner-occupied properties both on the commercial side and the residential side, as well as people who rent from
homeowners who rent their property. Correct.
Are there any apartment buildings right now?
Offhand, I don't recall any, at least in Cornelius. There will be in other communities, potentially, but there are a lot of, rented homes.
How will you tap into what homeowners and landowners are thinking right now?
Yeah, I think the thought initially is that we're actually going to have to compile a list of who all the property owners are and actually contact them and talk to them to first see if they understand how the special assessment district taxation works. So there's an education process, and 2, to at least get a preliminary understanding, insight as to whether they're supportive of going to a special assessment district, because it's unique in that 50% of the property owners that control 66% of the property value. So I'll repeat that again. It's kind of important in the formula. That 50% of the property owners who control 66% of the value of those properties have to vote and agree to have the tax applied. It can't be done by a town board vote or a county vote.
Sure. Sure. Is it really the homeowners who decide?
It's the owners of the property.
Yeah, actually,
building owner, homeowner, whoever.
Right.
Sometimes a renter doesn't have authority to vote, but the property owner.
What that system does is it throws a little more weight, presumably, to the commercial property owners.
It throws,
the 50 versus 66%.
It's a different perspective, because on one side it says the small property owner or small value has the same exact vote and say as the high value property owner. But if you had, hypothetically, I guess it's sort of like electoral college. If you had one property owner that controlled 66% of the value of the land on it, and there was 100 others that controlled 33, one vote would determine it. So there's, because I guess look at it from both perspectives.
What was the assessment level that was discussed yesterday?
That I don't recall.
75 cents.
Oh, the 75 cents per 1,000 on assessed value. That's what the proposed tax rate is. How that gets, the formula for how it gets applied and what it actually does to your actual bottom line tax rate. It's a pretty complicated formula, and I haven't studied it in detail. And I don't know, based on the projected land value along which they have, what the total income related from the special assessment district tax revenue would be associated in Cornelius. Those numbers are available. We just need to do our homework.
Do you see the red line as a game changer for virtually all of North Mecklenburg?
How could you not? I mean, it's absolutely, at least on preliminary evidence and all the homework and research done, it's one of the few things that's going to be a catalyst to jumpstart the economy. So it's a combination of an economic development catalyst and engine, as well as really stimulating the whole freight corridor because of this dual purpose benefit that we're looking at by bringing, making it freight available for this whole region. That's a big deal.
One last question, Mr. Mayor. The legislation enabling the special assessment district sunsets in 2013. What are the options around these kinds of districts if there likely will not be any benefits until 2017 when the trains might actually begin to roll?
You're asking an absolutely outstanding, maybe the first critical question that's got to be addressed. Because with the special assessment district, it expires at the end of 2012. And if the assessment isn't in place and active by then, in theory, it wouldn't be an available option. And part of the financing and funding for the Red Line right now is predicated partially on that special assessment district. So a couple things have to happen. Either that assessment has to pass and be enacted for January 1st, 2013, less than 12 months, or there has to be consideration going back to the state legislature and requesting and getting approval to extend the sunset date. Or a third option, which gets a little more complicated, but is still a viable option, is to, when we need those revenues in place, 2017 in this case, is to reintroduce the legislation and put the SAD capability back in place so it's a tool in 2017. Obviously, the big issue is what are we doing, and does it make sense to implement that tax on January of 2013, having people, in a sense, put back almost a capital reserve fund, building a capital reserve fund for 5 years before the line's operational. That is the $64 question.
Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate your time.
You're welcome.